everybody. So in this video I'm going to talk about I'm sure you've noticed this. How come we are different? The world seems to be different since that event in 2020. I'm not going to say what it is, but you know what it is. The world has changed. People have changed. People are no longer the same. It's like the world was colorful before, and after that event, it became black and white or gray. What happened? I mean, if you were following me before that event, you should, and even if you weren't, you should go back just for shits and giggles. You should go back and look at how, like before the event, during the period before the event, the period way before the event, and the period after the event, you will see how I was altered as a person, just the appearance, because something happened, and whatever happened, I felt it on a personal level. The way I can explain it, I remember one day, I think it was in March of that year. No, April of that year, I got up to go to work. And I was working day shift at the time. And when I stepped out of my porch that morning, I felt something is strange about the environment, about the atmosphere. Something was off. And I got in my car, and I was going on 75. I was working at a hospital at the time. Well, I was in Atlanta. So I'm on the road and I'm going to work, and I don't even know exactly when it happened, but I felt like the only way I can describe it is imagine a ton of bats. You know those bats, the bats, you know how they fly, and they fly together in a tight cluster when they're coming out from their whatever they were asleep, whatever they were. They come out like in a massive group, tied together, they fly out. There were things in the environment. I could barely hold my car. They were flying everywhere. They were not bats. I don't know what they were. And I remember, I think they were spirits. They were spirits for sure. They were in a massive number, and they were like engorging themselves. It was like an orgy. They were everywhere. And I was trying to hold on to my steering, because you know, like if you're driving through something, like your brain is thinking, I don't want to hit this thing. That's what my brain was thinking, because I could see it, and I'm like holding on to my steering. And I remember the spirit saying to me that no matter what you do not fear. No matter what you do not fear. And I remember singing this song by Ron Kennedy, blessings and honor, glory and power be unto the Ancient of Days. I had that shit cranked up. I was screaming it as I was driving. I was holding on to my steering wheel, and I remember what the spirit said, no matter what you do not fear. Because I knew that fear was how they got into the human. Fear was the door that they needed open to get in. So they were floating around looking for people who had fear. And I was just holding on to my steering. As I got to work, as soon as I pulled my car in the parking lot, this was happening about 6 in the morning, I called my ex-boyfriend at the time and said, you cannot believe what just happened. And I'm glad I made that phone call, because sometimes I never know if I imagine shit or if it really happened. But that one happened, because I called him when I got to work and I said, you cannot believe what I just drove through. And that do not fear was the way I handled that whole event. I never got stuff put up my nose. Never, not once. And I'm a nurse, and I was there at the bedside. I never, ever, not to talk of the other, never did. But of course, there was, I'm not going to talk about what all happened at the time, but what you're seeing today in people is a deadening of something in them that happened in response to the fear they felt during that event, and the thing that got into them in response to their fear. So there's a coldness in humans. There's a fear of each other, almost like the automatons in some sense. And of course, we're not talking, the cognitive dissonance, the fact that there's two realities. There's two realities. Because everybody that did not get the second thing, if you know what I mean, the one that goes in your body, some of them were still exposed to the thing that got into them in the first place. So there's a huge, what you might call it, reality difference between the two, and they're still being played on. But if you see people today and see how people are and how different they were before them, you would know that something traumatic happened to them. And some of us dealt with that trauma personally, especially if you have a, I don't know if it has to do with that, but some of us felt that trauma on a personal level. You all knew that something was wrong with me in 2020. You all knew, you guys. But what people didn't know was that was like my mind. That was literally, I won't say I was losing my mind, but my mind was trying to lose me. But I had a grip on my mind because I'm deeply spiritual and I'm deeply internal. In other words, I have an internal reality, and then there's the external reality. So my internal reality was what saved me, because I was always internal. So I was very aware of that, of the internal. And so that was what helped me when my mind was trying to split away from me. So when you see people now, understand that something happened to them, they went through a traumatic event, but they're not aware of the traumatic event. They're not aware of what happened to them. It's kind of like you have a bad dream and you wake up from the bad dream. You don't remember the dream, but something changes in you after the dream. Does that make sense? You know that you're different. Some of them don't even know they're different. But some people know that they're different, but they don't know why they're different. The things don't taste as good as they used to anymore. Life is not what it was anymore. Colors have become gray. Things are not what it was. Everybody went through a trauma, collective trauma. Somebody came and tore. Something came and tore at the human soul. And some people made it, some people didn't. So when you see what is happening collectively and what is happening to humanity as a whole, understand that it came from that event. And the manifestation is going to become more and more and more. Make sense? Share. Don't share. Don't share. Just comment. Don't share this video, please. Just comment if you understand, if this resonates, and let's talk about it. All right, bye.